Welcome back to the Sports Source. The segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. If you're wanting to feel some cool mountain breezes or dip your toes in some mountain streams this summer, plan your vacation now by visiting PCR.com. That's ParksideCabinRentals.com. Those folks can really take care of you. Dozens and dozens of different floor plans to choose from, whether you're looking for one for yourself, for the two of you, for the 25 of you. They have small cabins, they have huge cabins, and they're all great. ParksideCabinRentals.com to pick one out for you. All right, the SEC held its spring meetings in Destin this week, but they didn't accomplish the one big thing that everyone thought they would accomplish this week. Everyone went in thinking, okay, it's down to 9 games or 8 games once Texas and Oklahoma came in or entered the league. They're going to have to go with the 9-game schedule. Apparently, Jimmy, you were down there. Apparently, there was more push for the 8-game plan than there was expected. So therefore, they just kind of punted. They're going to go get some more answers. I can imagine what those are. But your thoughts on the fact that the 8-game schedule had a little bit more fight to it than most people anticipated?
I think those that favor the 8-game schedule are those that are trying to figure out how they can make sure they can get into a bowl game. And whether that's Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and maybe even Tennessee, Missouri, and those teams. The other teams were in favor of 9. And they're going to go to 9, I'm convinced. They will not have division play. Greg Sankey said that the 2 proposals that were submitted did not have divisional play. But he also wants to go to 6-3 because he wants everybody to play a home-and-home within a 4-year period. You can't do that with an 8-game schedule. You can only do that with a 9-game schedule. I remember when Mike Slive, the commissioner, wanted something in the league, he got it. Greg Sankey wants to go to 9 games. He'll eventually get it.
Yeah, the TV dollars, that has to be what they're going back and asking ESPN, okay, how much is it worth to have this many extra games? And I'm sure they'd also like to know what's going on with the college football playoff. But for those teams that are voting for 9, they're ready to go anyway. Those teams that are worried, we want to stay at 8, well, clearly you're not worried about what the playoff is going to be.
Right, you're worried about a bowl game.
Yeah, and that's my next question for you guys. Danny White won't say.
And I ask him.
He dances around a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions he would I'd rather not get into that right now. Yeah. It's a political job. Some guys are more political than others. He's very political with that job.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't say because the commissioner didn't want him to say.
So there were other athletic directors who said. So you had Mitch Barnhart saying he was clearly for 8. You had others that were pushing for 9. But anyway, what do you think? Do you think Danny White wants 8 or wants 9? Just we don't know. Guess.
I think he wants 8, and I think Jimmy hit the reason. It's the bowl game thing. And when you're right there in that middle of the pack, which we've already had 2 segments where you're middle of the pack, then that 6th win is what you're gunning for. And I'm afraid right now Tennessee is gunning for 6 wins, and you may not be able to get there if you don't have 4 or at least 3 built-in wins.
I think they want 8 too. And another example is what they did with the Virginia BYU schedule.
Yes.
And that made it look like, hey, we're trying to get an opponent that we can beat and try to get bowl eligible. I'm not a fan of it. I'm surprised. I think you have to have the forward thinking that, hey, by the time we get to this point, we have confidence in our coach and our program that we're going to be in a better spot to where we can think like the big programs, the successful programs in this conference, not, hey, let's get there first and then we'll change our mindset. You got to schedule way ahead of time. This plan is for way ahead of time. I'm not a fan of it.
I thought it was interesting.
Scared of Army this year.
I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Josh Heupel suggested this week that Tennessee had 2 permanent rivals that they'd like to keep. If it goes to this, we'd like to keep Vanderbilt. He didn't say Vanderbilt. He said we got 1 in-state, we got Alabama. So if you're looking at 2, that means you're looking at a 9-game schedule because the only one that has a 1 game is the 8-game schedule. So it sounds to me like Josh Heupel would be okay with the 9-game schedule, but maybe his athletic director wouldn't. They did come up with a plan for basketball. Well, first of all, with the SEC tournament, we've talked about this on this show for years. It bit Tennessee in the rear this year, and that's kind of pushed it forward. But the coaches are wanting to move the finals to Saturday night. When can they change the television contracts? That's going to be the question about it. But they're going to move the SEC tournament finals to a Saturday, so the NCAA tournament selection committee isn't sitting there with the whole thing already on a board.
The secondary part of that, too, is the contract with Bridgestone Arena that Sankey brought up. So those are the 2 factors he mentioned.
All right, very good. And they did come up with an 18-game schedule. We laid this out for you a few weeks ago. What it is, it's a 2-1-12 plan, 2 permanent home and away rivals for each team. Then you have 1 rival that rotates in each year. We thought it was going to be 3-12, it's 2-1-12. So one of those will rotate where you get them home and away. Then the other 12 games each year will be 6 at home and 6 away. You play everybody once. Okay, so you play all those other teams once. My question, and I would be shocked if you were two permanent rivals under this system. And again, to be clear, this is done. This is coming. Right. This is not they're still going to wait and see. No, this is done. It's coming. I would be shocked if your two permanent rivals are not Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
I agree.
Agree on that, everybody?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, I would be not only shocked but very disappointed if it's not Kentucky and Vanderbilt. All right, and that's what the league was really worried about. Would Pennington be disappointed? All right.
When the topic.
Yeah. We got basketball to come. We've got stadium updates to come. But next, it was a big recruiting week for Tennessee. Ryan Callahan will join us, step you all through their major gains this week, and talk about the needs that they have moving forward. Come on back on the Sports Source.